One country just made 10 gigabit internet available to every single home. The global median internet speed is just 97 megabits per second, but a handful of countries have quietly built digital highways so fast, they make the rest of the world look like it's still on dial-up. From volcanic islands running on geothermal power to desert nations wiring entire cities with fiber, these are the 10 fastest internet connections on Earth. We ranked every country using the Speedtest Global Index by Ookla, the most comprehensive real-world speed database on the planet. Over 16 billion speed tests from real users, not lab conditions. Every number you'll see is a median download speed, meaning half the population gets faster than this. Let's count down. Number 10. Thailand. Most people know Thailand for its beaches and street food. What they don't know is that Bangkok now has faster internet than Berlin, Tokyo, or London. Thailand clocks in at 275 megabits per second, nearly triple the global average. The secret? A brutal price war. Three telecom giants, AIS, True, and DTAC, have been undercutting each other for years, flooding the country with cheap fiber. A gigabit connection in Bangkok costs around $20 a month. In New York, you'd pay 5 times that for slower speeds. Here's what catches people off guard. Thailand's internet is actually faster in the provinces than in some Western European capitals. That's what happens when companies fight for every customer. Number 9. Switzerland. The country that perfected watchmaking now applies that same precision to internet infrastructure. At 278 megabits per second, Switzerland doesn't scream fast internet until you realize what's behind it. For major providers, Swisscom, Sunrise, Salt, and local utilities are all building parallel fiber networks, racing to cover every alpine village. Switzerland has no single government broadband plan. Instead, it relies on competition. And it works. Even towns of 500 people nestled between mountains have gigabit connections. The irony? Swiss internet is fast, but it's not cheap. Expect to pay 50 to 80 francs a month. They charge premium prices for premium service. Number 8. United States. The country that invented the internet is only number 8 on the list of fastest internet. At 302 megabits per second, the US has made a massive leap, up over 30% in a single year. But the average hides a brutal reality. If you live in Austin, Texas, or Chattanooga, Tennessee, you might have 10 gigabit fiber. If you live in rural Mississippi, you might still be on DSL. The digital divide is the reason the US isn't higher. The 2021 Infrastructure Act pumped $65 billion into broadband expansion. The results are just starting to show. Fun fact, Chattanooga, Tennessee built its own municipal fiber network back in 2010 and still has faster internet than most of Manhattan. They call it Gig City. Number 7. Macau. This tiny territory, just 33 square kilometers, packs 312 megabits per second into the most densely populated place on Earth. Macau is smaller than most airports, and that's exactly why its internet is so fast. When your entire territory fits inside a city, you don't need thousands of kilometers of fiber. CTM, the dominant telecom, has wired nearly every building with fiber to the home. The casino industry demands it. When billions of dollars flow through digital systems every day, latency isn't an option. What the gambling capital got as a side effect, residents now enjoy as everyday life. Number 6. Iceland. A volcanic island of 380,000 people, the size of a small city, delivering 318 megabits per second. Here's what makes Iceland's story unique. Every bit of data flowing through Icelandic cables is powered by 100% renewable energy. Geothermal and hydroelectric power run the entire grid. The country has become a magnet for data centers precisely because of this. Companies get guilt-free computing in naturally air-conditioned server rooms where the outside temperature does the cooling for free. Iceland achieved 93% fiber-to-the-home coverage by 2024, one of the highest ratios on Earth. And with the Iris submarine cable to Ireland completed in 2023, Iceland now has 3 separate routes to Europe. The country with active volcanoes and glaciers has better internet than 95% of the planet. That's not an accident. It's what happens when a tiny population invests big in infrastructure. Number 5. Hong Kong. At 345 megabits per second, this city of 7.4 million people runs one of the fastest networks on the planet. The reason is brutally simple: density. When millions of people are stacked in vertical towers, a single fiber line can serve hundreds of households. Hong Kong was one of the first cities in Asia to roll out residential fiber in 2005, and the early investment paid off. Today, competition between HKT, China Mobile, and Smartphone keeps prices low and speeds high. A 1 gigabit plan costs around $13 a month, making Hong Kong one of the cheapest places on earth for ultra-fast internet. Speed and affordability rarely coexist. In Hong Kong, they do. Number 4. France. Not exactly the country you'd expect in the top 5 for internet speed. But at 346 megabits per second, France has quietly become Europe's broadband leader. The story is regulation. France forced incumbent telecom Orange to open its fiber infrastructure to competitors. The result? Providers like Free, SFR, and Bouygues rushed in, and a price war erupted. Today, a French household can get gigabit fiber for under €30 a month, about half what Germans pay for far slower connections. France's plan France Très Haute Débit, the national ultra-high-speed plan, aims for full fiber coverage by 2025. They're not quite there yet, but they've already passed Germany, the UK, and Italy. Number 3. The United Arab Emirates. A desert nation that barely had paved roads 50 years ago now delivers 356 megabits per second, and that's just the fixed broadband number. On mobile, the UAE hits 672 megabits per second, the fastest mobile internet on Earth. This isn't an accident. It's a strategy. Dubai's Smart City Initiative and Abu Dhabi's economic diversification both depend on world-class connectivity. Etisalat and Du, the country's 2 telecom providers, have rolled out fiber to the home and 5G, advanced across every major city. The UAE government treats broadband like water or electricity, a basic utility that every citizen must have access to. When a country has the resources and the political will, speed becomes a decision, not a dream. Number 2. Chile, the biggest surprise on this list. A South American country with 357 megabits per second, faster than Japan, South Korea, and Germany combined. Chile's secret sits at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The country is the landing point for some of the world's most important submarine cables, including Google's Curie cable and the upcoming Humboldt Trans-Pacific cable, a $400 million project that will connect Chile directly to Australia and Asia. Valparaiso, Chile's port city, recently measured as the single fastest city for fixed broadband on the entire planet. Fiber now accounts for 70% of all fixed connections in Chile, and the competition between Movistar, Intel, and VTR has driven prices to Latin American lows. Chile is proof that you don't need to be a tech giant to have world-class internet. You need geography, competition, and political will. Chile has all 3. Number 1. Singapore. At 407 megabits per second, Singapore doesn't just lead the rankings, it laps the competition. And the gap is growing. In January 2025, Singapore sat at 336. By December, it had rocketed to 407, a 21% increase in a single year. The foundation is the next-generation nationwide broadband network, a government-mandated fiber system that guarantees every building in Singapore, every home, school, hospital, and office has access to fiber. In February 2025, StarHub became the first provider in the world to complete a nationwide 10 gigabit network. That's 10,000 megabits per second to your home. Not a lab, not a test, your actual apartment. The cost? Around 55 Singapore dollars per month, roughly $40 US. Singapore understood something most countries haven't figured out yet. Internet speed isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of a modern economy. Build it first, and everything else follows. From Thailand's price wars to Singapore's government mandates, from Iceland's volcanic energy to Chile's undersea cables. The fastest internet on Earth isn't just about technology. It's about policy, competition, and the political will to treat connectivity as infrastructure, not a product. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. We rank the world's most fascinating data every week. Like this video if fast internet matters to you. And drop a comment. Which country's internet story surprised you the most?